Hello and welcome everybody to the third installment in the fourth book of Alice Baker, Inside Insights, and today's episode is called Pursuit. A short recap of what has happened so far. Our dear Dottie has recovered completely, but she is now kind of a little bit different than she used to be, not in a bad way, but her true self is slowly emerging because Dr. Kunz has kind of helped her to maybe overcome or try to get out of this repressed mode that she has probably been in because she is Irish and all kinds of other things and Catholic and it's all terrible. And you have offered her the possibility of becoming a partner in your agency and moving out of this situation as a maid that she is contractually still in. You were going to, and we will at some point actually write down the contract. And she has accepted that, but this whole thing with calling you Alice,
she's struggling.
She's still struggling with that. She has also asked you not to tell her parents because she doesn't know how they will take it.
Yeah.
So basically, this is what's happening in your private life. Then there is something else that's happened. You have taken a new case. And that case has to do with the weird occurrences of what manifests itself on the surface as a hepatitis outbreak in the Bronx. Two police officers have died, Spence Murphy, and you heard this right around the new year, but as well as Connor O'Brien. Sergeant Updike has told you about this, and he has told you that Connor O'Brien has had they did an autopsy on him, and they found that he didn't have a liver at all. Mm-hmm. And there was no sign that it had been removed surgically. There was nothing left of the liver. It was just gone. And by the way, I made a mistake. A human liver is 1.5 kilograms. It's not 500 grams. It's massive. So if this is missing, there's a huge cavity in the body. Yeah. And it was just gone. So that was two people that you were aware of. And then you read in the New York Times that there has been a hepatitis outbreak in the Bronx. That's where the two of them were beat cops. And it's been kind of speculated it's being speculated that it's the water. So Sergeant Updike has asked you to if you would investigate this. And you were kind of in two minds about it because you've been through a lot and you also probably didn't really know if you wanted to expose yourself, but also I got the feeling maybe even more so Dottie to more weird stuff. But then the two of you agreed that you would take the case, and then something else happened because you came home while Dottie was so Dottie is now taking one weekend off per month. So she leaves on the Friday evening and then returns, or Saturday morning, and then returns by Sunday morning. The two of you have breakfast together, and then she goes off to Mass. So on one of those Sundays, when she was off at Mass, you came back from a walk. It was a lovely March day. You had been to one of the parks, and you smelled cigarettes.
Yes.
And you investigated.
Yes.
And you found somebody that... you didn't find anyone, but you did smell the cigarettes quite distinctly, and it's not the brand that you smoke. But you did find cigarette butts in the trash can in the kitchen, and they had lipstick on them, and you found that your same color lipstick is missing. So you invited Sinead. She basically said that she can't exercise you because you don't seem possessed, and she doesn't think that the house is haunted, but she can feel that there was a very, very powerful entity here, which has now left, and she's basically painted elder signs on the front door, the back door. And also, as you were investigating this before Sinead came, you also looked at the locks. You couldn't find that any of the locks had been tampered with. But it may have been a trick of the light, or it may have been whatever, but you noticed that for a split second there, Dottie didn't cast a shadow. So you are kind of waiting for a pair of red lips floating disembodiedly around, smoking a cigarette, Whereas Dottie is kind of like, what? Sinead is like, yeah, if something happens, just give me a ring and I'll be back. And then you also said that so that was last night. So it's now the next morning. So you have a couple of things. It was Sunday night, so it's now Monday morning. Tuesday, you're going to get the information where some of the patients from the Bronx are, and you're also going to, on the Wednesday, go into the precinct to talk to Mervyn Sands and Jason Thompson, who were the partners of Connor O'Brien and Spence Murphy, respectively.
Yeah.
And you also asked Dottie if she would be okay with you inviting your parents and telling them that you have made this change in her contract. And you're still waiting for an answer. And then, of course, we've got Maeve, the newest addition to the household.
Our little kitty.
Your little kitty. And she is...
Not mine. It's Dottie's little kitty.
Your plural. Well, it's Dottie's kitty, but she's kind of like the household cat now.
Well, by now, the house belongs to the cat, as we all know.
Yeah. So you still have permission to pay the rent. So that's okay. Alice Baker can still... Well, you don't pay rent, really, because you own it, but you can still pay the bills.
Yeah, and buy food if needed. And if wished so, also give some scratches behind the ears.
Yes. And, throw little things around that she can, the caps of milk bottles are very, very well-liked toys. So it's now Monday morning, and basically Dottie has said that she's fine with what you have decided, and she's fine to enter into this new partnership with you, but she doesn't want to give up the cooking. She wants to keep cooking. So she's now doing lunch and dinner, whereas you keep doing your breakfast. You're working on it. And then you, and the only thing that she has made kind of like with regard to changes is she refuses to eat anything in the kitchen. She wants all of the meals to be had in the dining room. She also lays the table regardless of if she's cooked the meal or not, but that's the one thing, the one concession she has made to the new situation. So you wake up on Monday morning, you, because rise and shine.
In a few minutes.
I'll lay the table. It's breakfast, so it's you.
Damn it.
She opens the door slightly. You hear little paws padding across the wooded floor, the hardwood floor. You feel a weight land on the bed. And then this 4 paws climbing the mountain that is your blanket and sitting on your chest.
Not fair to send to cavalry.
You hear Dottie laughing and saying, whatever it takes, Miss Alice. And she walks down the stairs.
I will stretch. Will give the kitty a few strokes and then carefully set her aside to stand up and get myself ready and go down to the kitchen to make breakfast.
So what are you making today? Are you going to make because you're now really working on your pancakes, or are you gonna make something else?
I think today she will be like a quite normal breakfast, so we'll have some bread, some probably some eggs, maybe 2 slices of bacon. I know it's not as excessive as we are nowadays able to eat bacon, so it's more special, so yeah, everyone is getting 1 slice, and I will do 1 extra because I'm quite sure the kitty will get 1 or 2 pieces. And yeah, that will be a quite lean breakfast. And I will bring it into the dining room because we want to eat there.
The table has been laid and Dottie is sitting there and she waits for you to sit down. She has the tea because you have the coffee. And she looks into her cup of tea And she says, Alice, you asked me a question.
Yes?
How would I feel if you invited your parents for dinner and you told them? We can do this. We should set a date. But we can't tell my parents until
Whenever you are ready or not ready. I'm quite sure my mom will not talk to your mom. I don't think they will be in the same circle, so that sounds like a good plan. The only thing I first want to make sure we have figured out is who will take care of cleaning the stuff, because we have no solution yet for that. I was thinking,
you mean cleaning the house?
Yeah, cleaning the house and all the stuff. I was thinking about asking around and inviting a few ladies to an interview, and we both can decide who would fit for this household.
Very good.
But I want to have that figured out, because I don't want to sit in front of mom that, well, the one taking care of everything is now focusing on what she's really passionate about, which is also helping me, to be quite honest, and she has done anyhow, but has never been properly paid or approved for. I want to make sure that I can tell her the house is still spit spot sound. We have someone who takes care. We just don't want to focus on the stuff that doesn't make fun.
So we could place an ad.
That would also be an option, yeah. Let's place an ad. I can still do a few calls and ask around, but an ad is a good idea.
She gets out her... She always seems to have something, a notepad and a pen. You don't know how she does it because you obviously didn't see it. She takes it from her lap. I don't know how she does it. So she basically takes out a writing pad and writes down a couple of kind of like really quickly, and then she shows it to you, and it's actually a really well written ad. Like, you know, they are pretty much very, very standard, but it's like, yeah.
Perfect.
I'll phone it in.
Thank you so much. And then let's see who comes in. And as I said, we should both see and decide, because we need to work with them anyhow. So we need to make sure they fit in here. And then let's see.
You have breakfast. You can hear as somebody pops in the newspaper through the. She gets up and picks it up and brings it to you, and basically just glancing at the front page saying, there's nothing more about the Bronx, and she just hands you the paper because she knows that this is your thing. She usually reads it as well, but she gives it to you first. Make a spot hidden.
Oh god, I need to roll.
You do.
Okay. That is a no.
That's a no. Okay. And and then she sits down again. The cat, she's now no longer a kitten. She insists on being called Queen Maeve, as is befitting of her. And has made it downstairs, and she has placed herself on the sofa. And she's looking at you, and she's purring, then she's cleaning herself, and And then Dottie says, okay, well, so today we don't really have anything that we need to do, but tomorrow we're going to get the names and the hospital or hospitals where they are, and on Wednesday we're going to go down to the precinct.
Correct.
So what do you want to do today? Do you want me to distract you again? Would you like to go to one of the gardens, or do you have completely different plans?
How's the weather? I'm not even sure in which month are we.
We're still March. It's now mid-March. It's kind of like an in-between day. It's not really beautiful, but it's also not wet. It's more a cold day, so and fresh, but it's not raining, or kind of like there's no precipitation.
What do you think about taking a walk? I think some movement outside wouldn't hurt both of us. Maybe we see something that we need to buy on the way. And I would be up maybe for some chess later on if you're into it.
Oh yes, I'd love that.
Then we have a plan. Then today we will do a completely chill day because there's just nothing to do.
Okay.
Good.
So, and then she says, okay, so then how about soup and sandwiches for lunch? Because depending on when we get back, we could just, like have something. But then tonight I will cook. What would you like? Any special requests? Because if we go in, we can also place an order with the grocers.
Whatever your fun cooking. You know I eat honestly everything you cook because it's just delicious.
That is true. Fish?
Always a good option.
Fish. How about tuna steaks?
Yes. Let's order them.
Yeah, so we'll go by the fishmonger. We will get tuna steaks. And I'm thinking eggplant with the fish and rice.
What a mix. Let's give it a go.
Yeah. That is actually quite
adventurous
unusual
for her.
Yeah, it's very adventurous for her.
Even tuna is probably not something she usually does.
That is true, yeah.
As Ella said, she will try everything because I think food-wise she's like, obviously things she's not as keen on eating as other things, but generally she is willing to give it a go, and it might be good together. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so basically then at around, I would say probably 9 o'clock, 9:30, you leave the house, stop by the fishmongers. They know her, obviously. They may not actually know you because you may not have been there, but they know who she shops for, so they're kind of like, and then she looks at the stuff that they have, and she doesn't consult you at all. She just makes all of the decisions around the food herself.
I will probably be just looking around, not even really listening on what she's ordering, just curiously what is out there.
So they have everything, all kinds of seafood, a lot of crabs as well. Winter is a good month for that. And then she says, all right, so let's go. And we go to a kind of like a park or something. Then because I somehow believe that there are other parks as well besides Central Park in New York, aren't there?
Yeah.
So you go to a park. And the sun is shining. You can now give me 2 spot hidden rolls.
We could probably even walk down along the Hudson River. Just take a stroll there. 2 spot hidden, yeah? So the first is a normal success. The second is a normal success.
Okay. You take a stroll. And at the moment when you start, you basically at some point come to a neighborhood that isn't your own, but it's not a bad neighborhood, and you notice that there is a man who comes towards you, and he looks at Dottie, and he definitely knows who she is. You have never seen that man before. And Dottie looks away.
Alice will blankly ask, who was that gentleman?
I don't know.
I'm questioning again. Who was that gentleman? He definitely knew you.
She does something she's never done before. Because usually she's a very good-natured person. Well, I mean, if we disregard those bouts of violence.
Yes.
Which are, she clams up, if you know what I mean. She completely kind of like withdraws in on herself.
Then Alice would just pat her hand. Dearie, it's fine if you say I know him and it's none of your business. I can live with that answer. Just don't lie to me. If you know that man, just say, yes, none of your business, then I know I can pull back. That will be all. I'm just curious, you know
and
that.
And she says, I cannot say that something isn't your business. That is terribly unfriendly.
You're my assistant. You have your own life. It's totally fine if you say it's not my business. The same as I know I don't have to ask you what you're doing in church because it's not my business. It's totally fine. That's
I
the
know
right
him.
everyone has. Then at least I know my eyes are not tricking me. See? I know I have a good look. I'm fine with that. And if you want to talk, I know. And if not, you don't have to.
Psychology roll.
Let's see. I'm not sure. Ooh, that is a hard success.
Well, first of all, it's easy to do, without the roll.
She's
there is
uncomfortable.
something there.
Yeah, something there, and she's definitely not comfortable with
She's
all
definitely
this.
not comfortable. But you think that there is something else going on. Not only is she not comfortable, but there is something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And to her, she would actually rather be dead at this moment in time than even look at you.
The good thing is we're walking next to each other. She doesn't have to look at me. So Alice will just walk on and whistle as if nothing would happened, and would, after a few meters, probably just say, if you need help, you know I'm here. And then we'll just walk on nonchalantly, and probably on the next corner point out a woman with a really crazy weird looking hat, just to like distract and clean the situation.
That worked. And so basically you spend the rest of the day and then it comes up to 3:00, and then Dottie's like, well, if we go back now, it's almost time for dinner, so I can make you a couple of sandwiches so that you don't starve until then.
I'm fine just with a cup of coffee and some cookies. We will have a sandwich. You don't have to cook anything because soup, it's too much. Let's just have a small sandwich, and then
I do have cookies
that we can use as dessert.
Okay, so you return.
Yeah.
And you turn a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And basically this time round she is actually so you're going north.
Mm-hmm.
You turn a corner to go east.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those really wide streets.
Yep.
Kind of like long, and there's houses on either side. So you're actually walking away from the already setting sun, and you notice she doesn't have a shadow at all. You can see, like when you have the sun at your back, how you're casting 3 shadows.
Mm-hmm.
She has 0. You have 3. Make a stability check, please.
I was like, I have to roll for something to see if I do anything or not. That is no, wait. Again, this way. That is still a fail.
Oh, you failed. Okay, so
Yeah,
you
I rolled
lose
a
2
60.
sanity.
Okay.
What is your sanity?
48.
Oh dear. Oh my god.
And it went up again, so...
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, so...
it's better than my luck, so I'm totally fine with that. I will definitely freeze, probably, just mid-step, just probably freeze for a second and stare at the pavement in front of us.
She stops and she stares and she says, what's wrong?
Just look at her. We'll look down in front of us again.
What is it?
I'm not sure you want to know.
Is it none of my business?
Sadly, it's all about you.
What is it?
When you look in front of us on the pavement, how many shadows do you see?
She looks at the pavement.
And I will make sure that I'm hooked into her.
Too few. I'm missing.
Yes. We will fix that and figure that out. I will just pet her arm. Sanity roll for her.
41,
Oh,
she's fine.
Oh,
She loses 3 sanity because that's about her, so regardless, she would have lost something.
Yeah, but oof. I think we should call Sinead and see if she knows any fun stuff about shadows disappearing.
I don't know how much more she can take.
We will
She
go.
almost lost her She almost lost her marbles when I was in hospital. She didn't take that very well.
Well, the thing is, I don't have to tell her who it is. I can only ask her. We have a client that is missing their shadow. If she heard anything like that before, that's it. We are still a PI. We can work for anyone. If you're not comfortable with asking her, we will stop at the library and see what we can find.
We can ask her if we don't tell her who it is.
I promise I will not tell that it's you.
Yeah. She is, she's paled.
I'm quite sure Alice as well. Why don't we go inside and back home? We're safe.
And then she does something that you find really interesting. She puts her hand just beneath her sternum where the liver is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this is something to do with what we're investigating?
No.
So that's something else. So we have cigarette smoking, we have not casting a shadow, and we have people removing livers from other people without them noticing.
I could imagine that the smoking and missing lipstick might be connected to this. I don't think
to this, and she points at herself.
No. Well, to that is not there. I don't think the other case is connected. Why should they? You were not in the Bronx, were you?
No.
See?
Psychology roll.
God. Ooh. That is a critical success.
She was looking a little bit to the top left, and she was waiting a little too long with the no.
Well, if you've been in the Bronx, then yes, we need to maybe have an eye on that as well. Although, missing a shadow. Since when is a shadow linked to the liver? That sounds completely insane. Quite sure every medic would say the shadow is connected to the body outside and not to the inside, because you see the shadow of the outside.
Mm-hmm. And every medic would totally not believe that you can pass through mirrors and then end up in some kind of shadow world where you nearly drown.
Yeah, and also the medics have no idea where livers are missing. I know, but generally I still don't think and don't... Although then we would just have one case and not two crazy cases, which... Still, I don't think so. We will keep an eye open and try to figure out all the open topics we have, and in the end, if they lead together to the same point, good. But you still have your liver. If not, you would not be standing in front of me in one piece. There were enough doctors around you.
That is true.
And to be honest, it's not the first time I'm recognizing that you don't have a shadow. I was just not sure because it was just a glimpse. Here I could really just see it.
This has happened before?
As I said, it was more like, at the corner of the eye where you're not 100% sure if you've really seen what you've seen, but I am quite sure this is not happened just today.
But what is happening?
That I don't know, but I know we'll figure it out because so far we figured out all the weird things happening, and we will do that as well. She will just pat her hand and we'll start moving again because I'm quite sure by now we were just standing and talking.
There were people passing by.
Yeah.
So yeah, you moved back. Yeah. You know her well enough to know that she's terribly concerned.
Well, Alice is terribly concerned, but she's trying to lighten the mood at least a little bit because she knows just like crawling up in a ball will not solve any issues. You need to move forward. And she hopes that at least some cooking will distract Dottie. And by now, Alice is just thinking to herself, I need to ask around for anyone who knows more about this weird, occult, supernatural stuff. And we need more context than just Sinead. This is not the option.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you make it to your house.
Mm-hmm.
The food has been delivered. So basically, the delivery boys actually they just place it next door when you're not in. So she picks it up from the neighbor, from their maid. And then she starts, she makes you a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts cooking.
I hope she was making herself also a sandwich.
No, she isn't. But what you notice is that she tends to stand in front of light sources and looks down.
Then Alice, when she gets a sandwich, Alice will just tip her on the shoulder like, Dottie dear, you need to eat as well. Don't make me make half and half. I'm sure you want me to eat the full sandwich. Same for you.
She goes and she makes herself a sandwich.
Let's sit down for a few minutes. We can sit
But
in
the food...
Just put it in the fridge.
She puts it in the fridge. She sits down. She's kind of like beginning to dissect the sandwich. And you notice that she's trying not to eat without looking like she's not eating. It's not going well. She's not fooling you, I'm afraid.
No, I will get up and we'll fill in just a tiny sip of brandy. Just a tiny sip. To put a glass in front of her and put a glass in front of me as well. So it's not to get drunk, but at least in that days, a sip of alcohol and good stuff always helps with everything. You also need to eat. Now I slowly know how you are behaving around me because I tend to do exactly the same thing. And I will bite into the sandwich and chew the piece I bought.
She smiles, and this time it's actually a genuine smile, and she starts eating. And she says, yeah, I suppose we've got our work cut out with each other.
I will stop and we'll just again put my hand on her arm and we'll just look at her. Really, we will figure this out and fix it. We even fixed a Wendigo from being a Wendigo.
That is true.
We will figure this out. The main important thing is that you are not feeling sickly. That is the main important point. So it means you don't need a shadow to be healthy.
Mm-hmm. And so basically then she drinks the brandy maybe a little more quickly than you would have expected because she actually X's it.
Also, you have quite advantages now in sneaking up on people. Because if I want to sneak up, I need to make sure that I'm not casting a shadow that everyone sees. You can just say boo behind them and they will be scared.
Maybe I'll turn invisible next. Maybe I'm fading away.
Sure.
Maeve is of the opinion that this is interesting. And then, yeah, she says, but now I really need to look after the food. And she gets up And
take care of the plates.
and
And
for
I'll
a very
also set the table.
for a very brief moment, she puts her hand on yours and she says, "I'm gonna cook now," and she walks away. And then you hear like pots and pans and blah, and and then very soon it starts smelling really nice.
I would probably enter the kitchen anyhow because I will get dinner and everything we need to set up the dining table.
Yeah, she doesn't mind if you're in the kitchen. That's fine. Yeah.
But I will stay out of her way. I know better than to interfere with her cooking.
And then you have dinner.
No, while she's cooking, I would go into the hallway and pick up the phone and see if I can reach Sinead.
Okay. Your luck is not 100, is it? Because on a 99, she's not there.
No, it's not. And you are attacked by a green screen.
Yeah.
Managed by a cat.
Indeed.
It will fall again.
It doesn't matter. There's a door that will hold it.
Good.
Yeah.
You can't give your cats toys. That is a toy for them. It's
yeah, I know.
Okay, then she will just hang up and she will try probably after dinner and see if she maybe can reach her.
Yeah, after dinner she is there.
Okay.
Does she actually have a last name?
No, I don't think so.
No, she's Sinead Murphy actually.
Oh, okay.
Murphy.
Well, it's the same.
Yeah, so she answers the phone. Sinead Murphy.
Alice Baker.
Oh, Alice, how are you doing?
I'm
Any more red lips?
No, but a weird new case, and I would be curious if you heard something about it. Don't worry, you don't have to come here or investigate anything because I think we stressed you out enough, but have you ever heard of someone losing their shadow?
Indeed I have. It's not a good sign.
Tell me more. How do we fix this?
Well, usually somebody who doesn't have a shadow isn't a human being.
They look quite human. They eat, they breathe.
That's what they want you to think.
I'm quite sure they are the human that they were before with a shadow. They just don't have a shadow anymore.
Have you ever read Bram Stoker's Dracula? He doesn't have a mirror image.
Yeah, but he has pointy teeth and is drinking blood and not eating normal food.
I'm not saying that the thing you're dealing with is a vampire. But of course, demons, for example, don't cast shadows. They're not really corporeal.
So if a demon possesses... Alice would now lower her voice. If a demon possesses someone, would they lose their shadow?
I have to say that this is a very tricky question because possession by demons is rather rare.
But it's possible.
But that demons possess humans, oh yes. It happens all the time. Like rarely, but it does happen. We've seen it through the centuries. You can go back as far as ancient Greece.
Is there any way I would be able to check if there's a demon there or not?
Usually the demon will tell you because they want something from you.
Well, this is not the case.
So you're saying that you have a client who is possessed by a demon and doesn't have a shadow?
No. I have a client that doesn't have a shadow and is asking for help to get it fixed.
That's a really strange demon that comes to you to have themselves fixed.
As I said,
maybe it's not a demon.
That's why I'm quite hesitant that it's a demon. How do you even get possessed by a demon?
Oh, that is actually not so difficult. Usually it happens to very religious people. I mean, you're not Catholic, are you?
No.
All right, so you've probably heard of people believing that they have the wounds of Christ. We call them stigmata.
Yes.
Forget about it. It's never Christ. It's always a demonic possession. You see, you've heard of angels.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they do exist. Only they are not like what we may think they are like. They are just entities. You know how we spoke about the essences, the spirits in your spooner, in your 1209 spooner?
Mm-hmm.
Demons are quite like that. Only they are not dead people. The essences of dead people, we don't really know where they come from. But they're pretty much like angels, you know? An angel, a demon, you say potato, I say potato. It really is a question of how you look at it. For example, there is a whole cult down there in New Orleans that deals with this kind of demonic possession. It's called voodoo.
So you don't have to invite them. They can just take over.
Well, I would say that as far as I can tell from what I have heard in my circles, that there are those that actually do invite them. They do want possession. But of course, that's ritual possession, and it is in a controlled environment, if you like. But then, of course, no shadow, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. No shadow. None whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Everything else is normal.
She breathes in and she breathes out. And she says slowly, I will ask you a hypothetical question.
Mm-hmm. Because I have one for you afterwards. You first.
This is nothing to do with anyone who lives in a house where someone's been smoking cigarettes and a powerful entity has been and gone.
I'm not authorized to tell you.
I'll take that as a yes.
She will probably shortly just listen in and see if she can hear where Dottie is.
You hear kitchen noises.
My just in theory question. If someone is close to death and a close family member that is not very church going goes into the church and asks for help, might that be an invite for a demon to say, yay, let's do this?
It depends.
On which?
Did you happen to pray in front of an altar of the Holy Mary?
Alice would be thinking about the church and trying to figure out, because she didn't really pay attention.
As a matter of fact, it was an Irish Catholic church.
It was Irish Catholic
went
church.
to, and they have a very strong connection with the Holy Mary, with the Holy Mother. And yes, you were standing in front of one of her side altars.
The answer would be probably yes. I thought she's a good girl.
Maybe you and I should meet somewhere where the person in question is not present.
That sounds like a very good plan. Should we meet in a few minutes or rather tomorrow?
She looks, well, you don't know, but she apparently says, well, it's 6 o'clock, unless I'm very much mistaken. My cousin is preparing your dinner.
Correct.
I don't know what she will say if you just walk out on her dinner.
She will murder me. We could meet afterwards.
All right. Where?
I will name her a bar there that we usually start meeting up when we then go out dancing.
Okay.
I will hang up and I will do something. Alice is hesitant, but she will do it just to keep cover. So she will put up the phone again and will just imitate dialing and would then be oh god, let me check the name. She's thinking of a name that she can call. Let me see. I think Martha might be a good option. Martha, darling, I just wanted to check in if you're back. So nice to hear you. Oh, you're leaving again. When? We should meet up before you go back to Florida. We definitely should meet up. We haven't seen each other in ages, dear. Okay. Yes, let's meet then later on. Usual space. 8:30? Let's do 9 o'clock. I think that's a better way. Okay, then see you later. And we'll hang up. And then she will peek around the corner. Dottie dear, I will after dinner be out for a bit and meet up with Martha. I just had the idea that I haven't talked to her quite a while, and she is in New York, but she's leaving in 2 days. So I just want to catch up quickly with her. But I won't be out long.
As far as I recall, you haven't even spoken to her since I woke up, and you said thanks for the Christmas card. No, absolutely, that's good.
But
yeah,
we will meet
sure.
up later, so dinner we can do in peace and quiet without issues.
All right.
Also, greetings from your dear cousin, Sinead.
Oh, Sinead, how's she doing? Has she been able to help you? So, what's with people without shadows?
Well, she was talking about vampires, but clearly then the person would need to drink blood and not eat food, so this is out of topic for you, obviously.
Yeah, it's I haven't had any blood to drink in several weeks now.
Also, when I think about Dracula and the stories, they were not even able to eat usual food. They would just vomit. And I've seen you eating food, although you were quite hesitant, and you did not vomit afterwards. So I think vampire is out. Also, I don't see that you have tiny pointy teeth that show up. So she will ask around and see if there are any other reasons.
She's like, okay, so I'm not a vampire. I'm glad we cleared that up. I mean, I feel much better already.
We will figure something out. If not, tomorrow we can stop probably in between in the library and have a look around.
All right. So you have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
She's remarkably chipper. It's one of her. Maybe this is a coping mechanism. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And then she looks at her watch and she looks at the clock and she says, "Well, so it's now 8 o'clock. So you're meeting her at 9. How about I just, clean up and you just get ready?"
Mm-hmm. Let's do that. Thank you for cleaning up.
Of course.
And Alice will go upstairs. She will make her look fancy, because it would be weird if she wouldn't do that for going out. And probably after 20 minutes, half an hour would come down again, because that is usually the time she takes. And then she would just call the cab company that she would need a cab in a few minutes. She would be looking where Dottie is. Probably
Dottie's in the salon.
Or in the salon.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on the go. Cab will be there in a second. You have a nice evening.
You too.
Don't let her dictate what you have to do this evening. And she will point to the cat.
The cat is sitting there in the window, on the windowsill, and she does this where she turns her head towards you. She knows exactly what you have said. And she gives you this arrogant look.
How dare she? I see that. And then we'll just leave, wave a little see you later, and we'll grab her keys and we'll walk out the door and we'll walk towards the cab.
So the cab takes you to the bar. You get out. You are pretty much on time. Tell me a little bit about the bar. What kind of a bar is it? What would be the patrons like? What would the patrons be like?
It would be jazz club, but more drinking than dancing. So it would be in a cellar downstairs, in a side street. If you don't know the place, you will probably never really see and find it. So it's more like an insider. And it's called probably the Red Cafe. Just go with the Red Cafe. And if you go downstairs, there is really a nice bar with some seating and also tables here and there spread out, that you can just sit together and drink and talk. And you just have soft, jazzy, swingy music in the background. Not by a live band, just playing.
Okay.
I will wait outside and see and wait for Sinead to arrive.
Yeah, Sinead arrives, and the two of you go inside. Were there cocktails in the 1930s?
Yes.
Okay, so I suppose
not I don't think the range we have nowadays.
Okay, yeah, but
at least martinis and things like that.
Okay, so so the two of you have a drink.
Yeah, I probably also I know the people here quite well, although I haven't been here in a while. So probably there's a little bit. Oh, Alice, haven't been there for a while, and I would just ask for a table more in the back where we can be on our own and asking
such a table can be
drinks.
found. Okay.
I would ask Sinead what she wants to drink, to be honest, because they're also serving water for someone who has to drive, for example, that day.
She has a insert cocktail of the time.
Alice will take a martini.
Okay, whatever, yeah, martini, yeah.
Then she will, then let's just sit down.
So. You notice that she is looking at you quite intently, and especially looking you up and down and then on the floor. And she says, when you sit down and after the drinks have been brought, it's not you, you have a shadow.
Yes. Honestly, if it would be me, I would have told you blankly and asked you what the heck is happening. Why am I not having a shadow anymore? She made me promise that I will not tell you because she is worried that you will have a breakdown.
Dear Dottie. She could be at death's door and still worry about how other people feel.
I've recognized it really today, but I think I've seen it a few days earlier here and there. Just like, corner of the eye thing where just like, I'm not sure about this, but in the house it's quite hard because there are so many corners where you don't have a shadow because the whole place is shadowy. But today in the sunshine when we were out, it was obviously visible, and I could not stop myself from asking her if it's just me seeing that something is wrong on the floor.
She knows?
She knows.
How did she take it?
As well as someone can take it. She is moving on. She's worried. But
right.
well.
So. There is indeed an entity, very powerful indeed, that deals in shadows.
Okay.
She's called Mater Tenebrarum, Mother of Shadows. She is very, very, very old. Also, she's not alone.
Great.
There was a time, a long, long time ago, really, when there wasn't just one god, there were many. And one of those gods was a triad of goddesses. They were referred to over the millennia by different names: the Moiran, the Norns. Different cultures had them. The Moirai were Greek, the Norns were Nordic. They're quite often associated with fate. The three fates. We have them today.
Yeah, I've read of them. And she's one of them?
Well, if we believe that the fates exist, it could be that she is the original one, or these three are the original ones. There is a saying that is attributed to them. It's supposed to have been translated from the Aramaic, but what do we know? And it says that they're there at the first cry of each newborn, and they're there to listen to the death rattle of each of us before we leave. And in between, if we are very unlucky, they take an interest. And they, well, you know, we now live in a world that, at least in our case, is governed by a male god, if you will. They've never really forgiven us mortals for disowning them.
Well, I didn't.
And some say that they managed to claw their way back, or not really leave, in the face of the Virgin. If you prayed to the Virgin, you may inadvertently have prayed to them.
I was standing in the middle of the church Dottie usually goes to. I just picked, because usually, as far as I learned on the little bit I know about this, that Mother Mary is one of, as I said, one of the good ones.
I'm not saying that
especially
they
for
are not...
Irish people.
The thing about these is, like the angels and demons, they're neither good nor bad. They just are.
Okay, I'll never get into a church again. That was obviously a bad idea.
I think more importantly, what did you ask for?
I just asked for the gods to help Dottie to get through this. That she's needed and that she's a wonderful person that needs saving. Because the doctor said they don't even know if she will wake up again, as you know.
Well, if we believe in the power of prayer, then you have succeeded. She is alive, and from what I can tell, she seems well.
Yeah, I've never really prayed before, and I'm still not sure if it was the right place to go, to be honest, because I was not sure if anyone would be listening, because, hey, that's a newbie. She is not from our kind. But I also want a desperate approach just to try it. But I'm not... the thing is, I'm not sure from when on she doesn't have a shadow anymore. I don't know. Because, honestly, when do you look at the people and first of all check if they have a shadow or not?
Well, if we assume for 1 second that my theory is correct.
Does she like red lipstick and smoking?
The Mother of Shadows is the youngest one of the three. She may like lipstick and smoking.
It would fit to your tingling senses of a powerful someone in our house.
You see, the thing is, if my theory is correct, you have asked a favor. This favor has been granted. A price will have to be paid.
How can you grant that without telling what the price is? Usually you have to do a contract and then both sides know what is about it. There are small written letters, I know about that problem, but there was nothing like that.
She laughs. And she throws back her full shock of red hair and she's like, you know, Alice, you are really funny sometimes. You're thinking in such human ways. You entered into a contract with a goddess and you're wondering why she didn't make you sign and explain the terms and conditions?
Well, I know about, the crossway pacts that you can have. If you bury something there, then you can have a pact, although it's a demon and not a god. And they will
Like
do
I said,
something
it could
for
be.
you, and
Somebody might
then,
consider her a demon. I'm pretty sure the Catholic Church considers her a demon.
well, it lives in their church.
I think she doesn't, actually. She was probably just bored and she dropped by, and there you were. It was a meeting of, well, shall I say it, fate.
Can a god possess someone?
I don't think she's possessing her. I think she's just taken her shadow.
What do you do with a shadow?
I'm pretty sure that before all of this is over, you will know more about her than I ever will. And when you meet her, you can just ask her. But whatever you do, remember, you're talking to something that is older, probably, than life itself. Don't get fresh.
Then we definitely have a problem. I will not stop being like I am. Although if the goddess is around, she will probably
I'll have
know.
another martini. Thank you. Alice.
There's no way to actively call her. I know we can't call her, but talk to her, because I want to know what I have to do that Dottie is one piece again.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes. Because for all I care, honestly, she could rather have my shadow, because I probably can live with that much better than Dottie, that just somehow slowly is piecing herself together again after all that happened.
You can call her.
Don't tell me I have to go to church again.
It would help, but no.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
If
Alice,
not, I will ask around and ask other people that maybe know occult stuff.
No, I'm not saying that I'm not helping you, but Alice, you're dealing with things that are so beyond whatever you have seen in the past, whatever I have seen in the past.
I've seen a crazy lot of shit. I'm honestly slowly stopping to be scared of things like that.
Alice, you should be scared. Whatever the price is, it's going to be hefty.
But at least then I have an answer what the price could be. At the moment, it's just like, why? Because I asked a favor. Why is she not taking something from me?
Maybe she is.
Well, she stole my lipstick, as it seems, but that is hardly the price for that. I'm quite sure. Also, stealing some cigarettes is probably not the price. I should have cigarettes at hand when I call her.
And the two of you can have a smoke. It's going to be great. Why don't you sit down in front of the fire and just have a little heart-to-heart?
Well, some bonus points will never hurt.
Alice, I will tell you what you can do to try and call her. But you have to promise me that you do it when Dottie's not there.
Well, that is easy to promise. I will definitely not do that when she is there. She doesn't even know that we're meeting up. I blankly lied to her.
You lied to Dottie?
Well, what would she say if I tell her that I'm meeting up with her cousin without...
When was the last time you lied to Dottie?
Never. I think.
So you're beginning to change.
Well, you asked me not to tell her.
But I didn't say to you lie.
I can't just leave the house without saying what I'm doing. She will ask.
I don't want to interfere.
When this is over and solved, I will come clean with her.
Please do.
She would do the same, so.
I can't imagine Dottie lying.
Oh, she can.
She lied to you?
Not in a good... Well, she's quite easy to read, but yes.
Was that before or after?
It was yesterday. It was not a big thing. It was yesterday.
No, this is what I'm concerned by. It's happening.
But small things, you don't always tell the truth. That's just normal. I don't know how often I lied to my parents in my life.
You're talking about Dottie. And you're talking about Dottie lying to you. That is a big thing.
You think? She was just uncomfortable with me noticing something.
What was this about?
We met a man on the way who obviously knew her. She was quite uncomfortable, and I could not stop myself from asking who that was.
You met a man.
We were walking.
And he knew Dottie.
Yes, for sure. She knew him as well. She was looking away and was very like, ah, la, 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 thinking. And,
We're talking about my cousin Dottie.
Yes. I don't know from where... he could have been, I don't know, a store owner. I am not sure. I asked her...
If it was a store owner, why would she not know him?
Well, she knew him, I'm sure, but when I asked her, she lied that she did not know him. And my answer to her was, please just tell me I know him, but it's none of your business and we are fine.
Has anything else happened? Anything at all, even something small? Things gone missing, besides the lipstick? Anything?
Money was missing, but that was early.
Money was missing?
Just a tiny bit.
Money
just
went
once.
Missing. Just once. And you're sure and you're absolutely sure it went missing? It's like, it wasn't like you bought that bouquet of flowers and...
No, it was in the usual cash that we use for buying food, paying the cabbie.
Was that before or after she came back from her illness?
After. But it happened only once. Maybe she bought herself something. I'm not sure.
You're talking about Dorothy Williams.
Honestly, during that time, there were other people in the household walking in and out. It could have been one of the others. Could have been a washing lady or the cook during that time. I don't know.
Miss Wilburn.
The washing lady, maybe. It was a one-time thing and never happened again.
That's what you think.
I did not see any.
Have you checked?
Afterwards, a few times, yes.
You have to be very careful. Because the two of you are changing.
I don't feel change, to be honest. I know Dottie is changing, but so far her changes are, at least in my opinion, in a good way. And also about that, I can't talk to you if she's not talking to you about it. That's her story to tell.
She looks into her martini and she says, Dottie hasn't spoken to me at all. Since the one time when you asked me to pick her up, to take her to her first day out.
I thought she was visiting family when she's out on a weekend.
She has not visited me, and she hasn't been to her family either.
Okay, that is worrying me now, because she has regularly a weekend off, and she's staying out overnight.
Like I said, she hasn't spoken to me at all.
Because I assumed she would just be at her family's place or meeting up with you.
I thought that she might be avoiding her father.
She is, for sure, I can tell you. But why would she avoid you? Well, okay, I could imagine as well why.
Why?
As I said, there are a few changes that are happening that are good, that are really good. I'm just not sure if her parents would name them good. I'm quite sure you would be fine with that, but she's afraid her parents will learn. And it's her time to tell you or not.
Is she ill?
No.
No, I know you won't tell me because you will not betray her confidence. But what is
Alice will
going on?
Put her hand on Sinead's hand. The change that is happening has nothing to do with being ill, and it's not a bad thing. I'm honestly pushing her for that for quite a while, and now she decided that it's the right way to go. It's nothing about health, and it has nothing to do with shadows missing. It's just about growing in life and moving forward.
She's sad. You can tell she has. And leaving us behind.
That is not the idea, to be honest.
It's what she's doing.
But she can still visit you guys. I'm quite sure when she's there, you're not talking about her work all the time, because honestly, it's just work related.
I never talked to her about her work.
Then she can still see you guys.
She hasn't been round. I was... Actually, when you rang on Sunday...
Yeah.
Well, she rang me, really. I thought it was an invitation.
To just come
and
by
I was
and
very happy. But then it turned out it wasn't. It was because you wanted me there.
I'm really sorry. I thought you were in close contact, because you were before. At least here and there.
Well, never mind. I think it's time to... She looks at her watch and says, I think it's time to leave now. I need to go home.
You wanted to tell me how I can call her.
I will. But not now. It's not so easy. I will have to do some research, but I will tell you tomorrow. You can expect your letter. I will not come to the house. Not with Dottie there.
Well, from my point of view, you're always invited to swing by, but I get why you don't want to, if she's not willing to invite you. But honestly, now I am really worried, even more than with the whole shadow thing. We will figure this out. And I will keep you in the loop.
She gets up and you can see that she is this close to actually crying, and she's barely holding it together. And she walks out.
Alice will order another drink. And we'll just be sitting there, just going through all she heard now. And is starting to make a plan.
Okay. How long are you staying there until they close? Or
No, until the drink is empty. Just like a half an hour longer, just to be there. And then she would ask the bar to call a cab.
The bar calls you a cab.
And then I will just go home.
So it's probably around about midnight now, because you met at 9, probably, or maybe 11.
I think around 11. I don't think we would have sit too long. Also, Sinead needs to get back home as well.
You approach the house and the lights are on in the salon, because I imagine the salon is the part that actually faces the front. Okay, so the lights are on.
Well, maybe she's still reading. So I will just approach the house with my keys and we'll open the door.
You walk in.
Yeah. I'm back.
Oh, Alice. I'm in the salon.
I was hoping so. If not, we would have a visitor again that we did not invite.
Oh, no. Maeve has been patrolling.
Then I'm quite safe. She will just go to the hallway, just hang up her coat on the walking by, looking into the salon.
Spot hidden.
And that is a... No, I'm not spending luck. Hard success.
Hard success.
Close to a critical, but honestly my luck is so low. I'm not spending more. But honestly, Alice would be walking through the hallway before you say anything and would also make a sniff if she can smell cigarette smoke.
You don't smell cigarettes, but you definitely smell alcohol.
Okay. Alice is a little bit... She was really on the point that she was quite sure Dottie was the one smoking, and Dottie took the lipstick. She's still on that road in her mind. Alcohol is also not the best, but what is Alice to say about that? Nothing. She would probably go over to the tiny bar and would grab for the whiskey. And hope there's still whiskey. And would fill herself a glass.
Spot hidden.
And she would scan the alcohol bottles.
Yeah.
Because
you did it before.
Yeah.
When you were thinking, did somebody drink?
Hard success again.
Yeah, there is alcohol missing from all 3 whiskey bottles.
So
she would say easily.
She's clever enough to try to disperse it. Okay.
Yeah.
But mixing that. Ooh.
And, this is really cringeworthy because you've got the best. So, but you basically then stick with one to kind of like really savor it. But somebody is just randomly, in order to hide the fact that they have been drinking.
It will give a nasty headache and hangover if you start mixing that stuff. But she will pour in the whiskey and she will just sit down next to Dottie. Greetings, Samantha.
Oh, thank you.
Well, she has been here for a few weeks, but now she's looking forward to move to Florida again because it's much nicer and warmer there than here.
Well, I can imagine in this weather.
I can as well. So, what has the Queen been up to? You said she was
patrolling the house, and she's complained about the lack of mice, and I've explained to her that this is the sign of a very, very, very well kept house if there is no mice.
Very true.
And there were also no cockroaches, so she was complaining about this. So I said, well, she can have some special food tomorrow, and I gave her some of the tuna that was left.
While she's talking, Alice would study her and see if she is slightly drunk.
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
You can tell she's got glowy cheeks. And her speech isn't slurred, but you know how sometimes drunk people move in a certain way when they really have to concentrate. Although she's not walking, you can see that she's kind of finding it a bit difficult to look at you steadily. Yeah, she's not sober.
Alice will just sip on her drink and will just look at Dottie. In her head, it's the discussion. Do I say something or do I not? Do I say something or do I not? Because she's on the point like, I should not say anything because I did. Well, I drink openly. I did not even care if someone saw it.
Yes, you do drink openly. And she doesn't like it when you do. We had that discussion.
But Alice totally gets why, because honestly, with that notion, I'm quite sure Alice would drink at least the same amount, but she would stick to 1 bottle, not to 3. Oh, she would be drinking and staring at Dottie without saying anything. She would be curious what Dottie's doing.
Dottie is she is sitting there and she looks quite relaxed, like somebody who's drunk. She's a happy drunk, obviously. This is something that you're learning now.
Okay. So when do we start tomorrow? Well, usually.
Well, tomorrow we're gonna get a letter, I assume, from the precinct with the names of the the patients and where they are.
And when we have it, we go out for the hospitals to check on them.
Yeah. And then she says, "But I think I'm gonna turn in now because tomorrow at 7 it's Rise and Shine."
I will sit for a few more minutes, make sure everything is locked.
She looks at you expectantly, then she gets up and she...
How? Alice is waiting for how well is he going?
She has a normal success on dexterity. So it's this step out of the car and walk that line kind of walk. Really concentrating. Her eyes fixed on wherever she's going towards the door and really concentrating. This is not a normal walk. She's not faltering, but it's,
I think usually for the salon the doors are open, so you can just walk out towards the stairs. And when she's at the landing of the stairs to go up, Alice would be, because it's Alice, she can't, would just call after Dottie, drink a bit more water, that might help with the headache tomorrow morning. Next time just stick to one type of alcohol, dear, that will give you not a hangover.
She looks at you and she's beet red. She's completely blushed.
It's fine.
And flustered.
Alice will be just, it's fine that you want to drink. After all that you've been through and the nice things we found out today. I know the best that sometimes it helps, although it should not, but well, it kind of helps. That was just a nice tip for you, that you don't wake up like someone walked over you 10 times. Just stick to one. And you don't have to hide it. I'm totally fine if you want to drink. I'm the last one to say don't drink, because then I don't have to drink that. This is not a scenario I want to go to. You don't have to hide it. You are partner here. Remember, you are part of this. The worst thing that can happen, that I will tell you that from your salary you have to buy a new bottle.
She is you can tell this is utter shame in her face. She can't react, she doesn't smile, she just basically makes her way up the stairs.
I think Alice would be now.
That
hush,
didn't
hush.
go so well.
Go up, drink water.
Yeah, she does have a misstep, but she walks away, and you can hear that, like in these old houses, you know, when somebody turns on the water upstairs, you hear it, and you can hear that the water's running. Yeah. Maeve looks at you as if she wants to say, "Well done."
I'll probably scratch her head just a little bit. Be like, Maeve, don't you want to join Dottie? It's bedtime. Just talking to her, just pointing towards the stair. Not sure what a cat will do.
She looks at you. She looks at the door. And then she just leaves and goes up the stairs.
Okay. She will finish her drink. she will bring the glass into the kitchen, put some water in there, and then she would make her round to see if everything is locked properly and if there were any candles or anything on to make sure everything is out. And then she would go upstairs into her room, get in her PJs, and would go to bed, probably staring at the ceiling for quite a while.
You go to bed, you stare at the ceiling. At some point you go to sleep. What's your spot hidden?
65.
You know how you're sometimes kind of like in this state, half awake and half in dreams? But you kind of have sensations that come from the outside and invade your dreams. And you could swear somebody's smoking in your room.
I would say she would wake up with this and open her eyes. If you let her, sure.
Yeah, no, you can wake up.
She will get basically full conscious and would open her eyes and would peek around. She would not move too much, but she would definitely open her eyes and peek around.
I imagine that in your bedroom you have at least one chair of some description.
In front of the vanity is definitely a chair.
You're pretty sure that there is someone sitting there.
Alice will take a deep breath.
And you can smell the smoke now.
And then just in a normal, not very loud voice, she's trying to be calm. Just like, I'm still waiting for the price that we have to pay for this.
Do you turn on the light?
No.
Okay.
The question would just be, I'm still waiting for the price to pay. But staring at the chair.
The chair, the person in the chair turns around and suddenly there is something really weird happening. It's as if all of the darkness in the room, which is pretty much a room full of shadows, vanishes and flies towards that entity that's sitting there. And suddenly the room is illuminated by some kind of light that is neither here nor there. And in front of you sits a young woman, maybe 31, 32 years old, holding a cigarette in a cigarette tip. And she looks exactly like you.
Like me.
Great.
Good choice of cigarettes.
Thank you. And it's your voice.
I think I have to thank you for saving her. I guess.
Yes. I brought her back to you.
Probably my weird curiosity streak, but I would be really curious what is the price I have to pay. And as I said, I have to pay. Because she is honestly quite fragile, and you maybe know where her shadow went, but the shadow missing is making her quite uneasy. And I'm worried that the work you did to save her will not be for long.
Oh. Oh, well, the shadow can be restored. That's really fine.
Lovely. The question is, what do I need to do?
You need to do nothing. The price has already been paid. You just have to wait for it to come to fruition.
Again, my very curious mind. No tips on what price? Because it will not be the lipstick and the cigarette, I'm quite sure. Although, does she wear the lipstick?
She is wearing lipstick, yes.
Although I get why you took the lipstick, because it suits you very well.
Well, of course. Oh, does this disconcert you? And she changes. In front of you sits Dottie.
Well, that is more disconcerting. Just stay in my form. I can deal better with that. She
comes back as Alice.
Because I'm not sure I want to ask to show your real self, because I'm hesitant that is something that humans are allowed to see. There are a lot of stories about powerful beings like you, that when humans lay eyes on their true form, get blind or die or whatever.
Yes, that is true. When the Greek gods appeared in their normal form, all the mortals died, which is why they appeared in very many different shapes.
So thank you for visiting in this, I will egoistically say, very pretty shape.
Yes, it's one of the prettier ones that I've inhabited, and she looks at her hands.
I'm glad you like it.
Yes, I do. I mean, there was a reason why I listened to you. I was bored, but you know, it's not often that someone like you calls me.
Well...
And it was such a worthy cause.
I'm not sure Dottie would say that, but...
Do you not think she wants to be alive? She would have died, I can tell you that.
Yes, but you know the very Catholic, stickly people that believe in the only one true God. I'm not one of them, obviously, but this is...
She will learn. She will pay a price.
Why does she have to pay a price for me asking something?
She is the one who returned from the dead, or the nearly dead, isn't she?
But she didn't.
It would be easy for me to make you pay a price, but that's not fun. You wanted this. You got it.
And honestly, I was sure that I would have a price to pay for that. She has no saying in this. She is just a victim now of wild gaming of other people.
Well, I mean, to consider somebody that was brought back from near death, but certain death, a victim. You know, it's nothing that she can't pay. I would never take anything that somebody can't pay.
The thing is, does she even know she's paying it? I don't think so.
She will soon. Trust me. She will very soon.
Is there any way we can make a deal that she's left out of it and I pay?
Well, I mean, I could probably think of something, but the problem is the seed's already been sown. You're too late.
It's never too late to change a thing. As you showed.
Do you want to interfere with the mystery of life?
I'm just asking you for changing something you did, because I'm quite sure you can. You can stop someone from dying and bring them back. You are powerful.
And you have honey lips, and your words drip from them like so much honey. You really are a sweet talker, aren't you? But I helped you once. That's it.
Well, then I will have to find another way. It would be nice if you leave my house and not come back. You are not welcome.
We are so unsung.
We? You mean your sisters and you?
Mm-hmm. I helped you.
I'm thankful for that. The only thing I don't like is that someone has to pay a price for that who did not even agree to the price. Because, you know, I'm human. For me, that is unfair. because if you get something and you agree on a price, then you can still decide yes or no. None of us was ever asked if we were willing to pay the price for the life.
You were so desperate.
Yes.
You really wanted this.
True. But I would have liked to know if there's a price to pay, what it was. Because it might still be that I'd rather say she's better off not paying the
So
price.
she's better off dead.
The thing is, I just want her to be safe. If not, I wouldn't have been in that church. And now you are endangering her. Which leads me to, if you don't want to make a deal with me again, I need to find another way. There are other powerful beings out there. You are not the only one.
I don't remember being challenged like this in a very long time.
A good friend told me I shouldn't, but I am like I am.
You're not listening to good friends. You don't listen to anyone, do you?
Listening and deciding on my own if I want to go that way or not. And I've seen crazy stuff. I am done with being scared.
She gets up.
Alice will just watch what she's doing.
And she says, well, Alice, I upheld my part of the bargain. I brought her back. There will be a price. The price has been paid. You will soon see it.
Is there any way I can talk to one of your sisters and make a deal with one of them?
Do you really think that they would go behind my back? Or even blatantly, directly to you to offer you a better deal?
Sisters love each other and sometimes don't really like that one is getting more than the other.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you will meet my sisters at some point. Before your death rattle. But not right now. You and Dottie are extremely interesting people.
Well, I will make it more interesting for you, believe me.
And she stands before you and she looks at you and you look at yourself. And then she changes one more time. And before you, you see a human form, but it's completely black. And then it dissolves and the whole room is plunged into darkness.
I think Alice is frozen for a few seconds and then she will just go for the light switch and see if she can turn on the light.
Yeah, you can. And normal behavior. There are still shadows in the corners, but everything else is lit the way you expect it to be.
Alice will get up. Will put on her nightgown. Or the morning robe, it would be more. Just throwing that over, and she would tiptoe downstairs.
Okay.
She would turn on the light in the salon.
Yes.
Would close the door, because there are doors. They're usually just open.
Yes, there are. Mm-hmm.
And drink.
Drink, or just have a drink.
It starts with one drink. I'm not sure how late it is. She would probably by now look at the,
probably 2
the
o'clock
clock
in the morning.
and mantelpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Then it will turn into drink. It starts with one drink, then another one. But she sticks to one bottle.
Okay, make a constitution save -20.
Ooh.
Or better still, we have the advantage-disadvantage system. And make it with disadvantage, so it's easier.
Well, the first roll was already a fail, so I will still do a second because it could be a complete disaster, and the second one would be a success, so I fail.
Okay, you pass out. After a while of drinking, you pass out.
That's fine.
The next thing you notice is, I assume you were sitting on the sofa.
Yeah.
The next thing you notice is someone touching your hand, holding it, and putting a hand on your forehead and Alice, wake up.
Not so loud.
I'm sorry. It looks like you fell asleep on the sofa.
No, I drank myself to fall asleep on the sofa.
You shouldn't do that.
There was no other option.
Why? What happened?
I'm not sure you would be able to handle it.
Try me. I'm Irish.
First, I need coffee.
Of course, and you don't move. And she goes away, rummages around 10 minutes, 15 minutes, comes back with a tray.
By now, I would guess Alice is at least able to open her eyes.
Yeah, you can open your eyes, but I mean, the sun is streaming in. It's terribly bright.
Would carefully, because she knows better, carefully get up and would close the curtain, that at least it's not that bright, and then would just sit back down on the couch.
So, this time she sits right next to you.
Yeah. I will hold on to the warm coffee. We have a problem. A big problem.
Am I a vampire?
No. Oh God, no. Honestly, that would be probably an easier to solve. I am so sorry. I did a big mistake.
What did you do?
When you were in hospital, they told us you will quite highly not make it.
Yes. And you paid for my treatment. You paid for the doctors. You paid for everything. You made me whole again.
Not the doctors.
What do you mean?
I went to church.
You come again? You went to church?
I thought praying to the God that you are believing so desperately in, that he might help, because that was
I'm pretty sure my whole family
option.
did the same thing.
Well, your family believes in him.
They had rosaries said. It's normal.
Yeah. Not for me. I just sat in the church looking at the shrine of the Holy Mary and was just asking desperately for saving you, because you are one of the good ones that needs to be saved and you don't deserve that.
And? Well, I mean, what shall I say? I mean, you prayed on my behalf. I don't know how to thank you. That you would go to those lengths for somebody who doesn't believe. That's a big step.
Don't thank me. The result is what we have now and what will come.
What? Alice, I believe that this is my business, and I would be grateful if you could just say it. What is going on?
Well, we're starting to lie at each other. You're not honest. I have lied to you.
You've lied to me?
I did not see Martha yesterday.
What?
I met up with Sinead.
Sinead, huh?
Exactly that reaction is what worries me most about all of this. Why are you distancing yourself from your family? They're worried sick because they have no idea what you're up to. Sinead was heartbroken when you called because she was hoping you would invite her just to visit. No, it was a working call. What is going on with you? And I think I am at fault that you are changing like this. At least that is what was quite clearly stated. That it's
What?
on me.
How is that anything to do with you, how I treat my family?
Well, someone listened to my ask for help, but did not tell me the price you would have to pay.
What are you talking about?
Where are you going on the weekends? I'm really worried.
She gets up and walks away from you with her back turned.
I know it's a private question, and I'm really sorry I have to say that, but I'm really worried. Not that you have the weekend off, by far. But usually you would use the time at least from time to time to see your family.
You said there was a price.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know what the price is because the stupid goddess is not willing to tell me, or demon god, I'm not sure what it is. Deity is probably the best sounding for that.
She's not turning around. She says, I know what the price is.
Alice sets down the coffee quite loudly on the table. Excuse me?
I'm pregnant.
Come again?
You heard me.
The seed planted.
What?
She said the seed was planted. I am so sorry. I thought in church I would just talk to your God.
What is this church thing to do with anything? She turns around, she comes back to you, she kneels down in front of you, and she takes your hands and she says, I can't go and see my family. I just can't. I can't face them.
I understand, at least now, why. How long do you know? Because I'm not sure when... Well, this started when you were in hospital, obviously, at least from my point of view.
No. I know exactly when, and I don't need to give you any details because I'm pretty sure you know how it works. Don't.
No. Things happen.
They do. Only not. This should not have happened to me. This is not my life. This is not me.
How far are you in?
1.5 months. 7 weeks.
I'm hesitant to ask you the questions that are going in my mind because I know as a good Catholic girl you will get the baby, I suppose.
I have asked myself this and I can't.
Okay, why?
I can't have the child. But I can also not have the child. I don't know what to do, Alice. I have no idea. I feel...
Why?
If this hadn't happened, if you know, if you hadn't asked me, you know, to switch... I can't stay.
Yes, you can and you will.
I can't.
Sit down.
She sits down.
Why can't you stay? I get why you don't want to see your family. And I get why you were hesitant to share this with me. Why do you need to go?
Because
Whatever.
I don't know what to do. You see, I can't kill myself.
Please.
That would be hellfire and damnation.
Also, I would follow you and kick your butt for the stupidity.
I can't have a child. I'm not married, as you know. And I can't not have the child, because that would be murder. I know I have options. I have been told I have options. It was made... I had to take money to pay the doctor. I'll pay it back.
You don't have to.
I do.
Okay. You don't have to, but do if you want. You can refill the bottle.
I know how much it would cost, but I can't do that.
Yeah. Don't just put back.
It's a sin. Well, yes, I know what you're going to say. I've sinned already, and God knows I haven't been in church since then. I know.
I will take both her hands. You know, I don't care about this. That is something you grew up with. I did in kind of way too, but honestly, in a high society, too many people get children they should have and give them away or hide them or give them a niece or somewhere. There are so many options what you can do without killing anyone.
How am I going to... I mean, you know, this will last 9 months. After a while, it will be impossible to conceal it.
Well, who's here?
You are.
Yeah, but I know it. What will shock me about that anyhow?
You just don't understand, do you?
You need help. This is nothing to run off and be all on your own. You need people around that you can depend on. And I get now why you are not choosing anyone in the family as much as you love them. Because, boy, I know Irish standards by now from you will be horrible.
My father will kill me.
Well, he has to go through me first.
And then my mother will kill me again.
Well,
this is the worst that could have happened. This is worse for them than me dying, and I can tell you this for nothing. If they find out...
Why should they find out? I'm not telling them. I'm sorry I lied to you about Sinead, because Sinead was worried sick because she did not hear a single word of you, and I got crazy sorry as well, and just by asking of someone without a shadow, we had the full panic going on. But that is another problem we have to talk to, although it might be linked to the problem that you are having of being pregnant.
I have one question for you. If I do decide, heaven forbid, but if I did, could I get an advance on my salary? I need $100.
Sure.
I don't know what I'm going to do. But if I know that I can, it might make things a little less problematic. Because I am at my wit's end.
I can give you another option to play through with. And if you want to discuss options, I'm here. I will be by your side, if you like it or not. I will not let you alone. You will not leave me alone when I'm in trouble. I will not leave you alone in trouble. Didn't I show you that so far, young lady?
To me, this is worse than dying. And no, he doesn't know, and he will never know.
I'm fine with that. I know getting an abortion is definitely against all that you believe in, and it's worse than getting pregnant without being married. Honestly, a lot of people get pregnant without being married, and I'm quite sure the God is not striking on all of them.
Well, they usually then get married within like a very short period of time, and no, I'm not marrying him.
The other option that is they are going on a long vacation or business trip.
And then
come back as if nothing happened.
And what about the child?
There are other people that are desperately trying to get a child and not able to get one. There are things that can be arranged without killing, and maybe even helping another family to be happy to have a child and raising it. And the good thing is here, and especially with me around, it's easy to say, hey, Alice decided that she wants to travel and she will be out in Canada on the East Coast is too close, West Coast, whatever we want to pick. We will stay there, we will arrange things there, and we will figure out what to do there. And then we come back. Which would also make it easy for you why you can't see your family, but maybe you would be able to at least send a note or a letter or a postcard that they know you are thinking of them, that you are doing well. You taught me that parents like cards.
They do.
As I said, you have options. All the options. And it's not about you having to pay me back. You being here and staying with me is quite egoistically the one thing I want. The thing is, before you make a decision, you need to hear the rest of the problem.
There is more?
Well, I will look down. I guess she's still not casting a shadow.
No.
Talking about the missing shadow thing.
Yes.
I know you believe in your god, but you heard stories about that in the old times there were more gods the people believed in.
Yeah, the Greek myths. And you know that she's been reading from your books.
In the Greek myths as well, there is a three-sister combination.
Yeah.
You see them in all kind of stories. One of them is the goddess of shadows.
What? Yes. What?
Mm-hmm. The three sisters of fate.
And one of them is the goddess of shadows.
Yes.
So she's got my shadow?
Also, not only that.
She looks at you and she says, she's taken your shadow as well now?
No. She's a goddess in her own vision. Underrated.
You do know that those myths are not real.
After all we've been through. I've seen her and talked to her. She's obvious. By the way,
you've talked to her?
When
did that happen?
Why do you think I was sitting down here in the middle of the night drinking?
Forgive me for saying this, but this has been a common occurrence in the last couple of months, ever since I came back, that you tend to drink a lot more than you used to. You smoke a lot less.
Yeah, that's why she is taking over the smoking. She was sitting in my chair in my bedroom, smoking.
What? Why didn't you call me?
Well, I wanted to talk to her, because when do you get a chance to talk to the...
Alice, you spoke to a goddess? That appeared in your house?
Well, let's phrase it again. She names herself a goddess. Others might say rather she's a deity. Others would say she's a powerful being or a demon. Depends on which side you're looking on.
Well, we've seen that there are ghosts, so I'm willing to buy into the whole demon thing.
So she's talking herself about being a goddess. But, well, we don't know. But she's powerful, let's say that. And she's otherworldly powerful. She's also exactly what Sinead described, who could be responsible to take the shadows. But usually she is giving you a wish but taking a price for that. And she was bored when I was sitting in church and decided to help, to see what fun that would be. The problem is that I'm not paying the price. You are. I'm still not sure what kind of price. The shadow is the smallest issue. She said we will see what the price will be, and she was talking about a seed that was placed.
Well, we know what the seed is.
Now I know, yes.
So that isn't really a separate problem, that is the only problem.
Yes, and honestly, I'm quite sure that our police issue coming up is not part of this. I was quite right about that. That's two different topics just happening at the same time.
But
maybe her sisters are bored playing around with the poor people in the Bronx.
All right, so let me kind of summarize this for me.
Yes.
You went to church to pray.
Yes.
Instead of praying to Jesus and his Holy Mother, you prayed inadvertently to some Greek goddess that brought me back from near death.
Yes.
And the price is that I'm pregnant, plus she's taken my shadow. Well, to be quite honest, I would give her my shadow for the rest of my life if I wasn't pregnant. This whole thing about my missing shadow is somehow
the smallest problem in this.
It pales to insignificance.
I am with you on that, because at least I still have no idea if it's problematic not to have a shadow.
Well, it looks odd, but I mean...
Yeah, no one really usually should recognize that. The thing is, I was sitting in church and I just called out to whoever is there, because I honestly have no idea how to pray to your God. I am really sorry I caused this. I'm tiny thankful that she saved you, but I am really... I'm angry at her. I'm really mad at her because she never... With demons, usually you have like a contract with small prints that you don't see. There was nothing. She just decided on her own what she would do.
I will say this. I'm not sorry that she brought me back. I honestly don't think I wanted to die. I don't remember anything, but I'm pretty sure I didn't want to die. This is my own doing. I should have known better. I didn't.
It's still not fair that she's playing her game, because for her it's a game because she's bored.
You know what the Lord has given all of us? Free will.
Yeah. I'm using that too often, I think.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying... I haven't seen her. I haven't spoken to her. What I did... You probably don't call it a sin, I do, but I knew what I was doing. It was wrong. I shouldn't have done it, and now I have consequences to live with. If this is something to do with her, then so be it, but it's nothing to do with you.
Well, I triggered all of this.
That's what she says. That's what she maybe wants you to believe.
Honestly, without talking to her, Sinead had quite the same idea, because it's quite known that there are sometimes hanging out in church, especially if you are looking at the Holy Mother Mary, whatever link is there.
So, how about we agree on this? We will never lie to each other again.
I like that. I
All
promise.
else, we will have to deal with. I will have to deal with.
We will deal with it. I
So
pulled
be
you
it.
into that, and yes, promise
No, you didn't.
lies.
We don't know that. She's saying this.
Well,
She's telling you. If she's a demon, scripture says that they always lie.
I think technically they are not lying, they're just leaving out things. Which I'm quite good at if I want to as well. Which not mean I'm demon. God.
At that she laughs. No, you're not a demon. I can tell.
No, I made a demon. I'm not sure if she was angry at me. I think she was amused by me trying to rebel against her, telling her I will find someone else who will be able to help us against her if she's not willing to talk to us. Yeah,
You are funny. You know that. You are terribly funny.
Yeah, Sinead told me I should not make her angry, and I kind of tried and it did not really work.
Did you make her angry? Because,
No,
I mean...
I don't think so.
Well, if it's true that she is thousands of years old, do you really think that you could make her angry? I mean, she's probably immortal.
I think she is. She can also take on any shape she wants. She was sitting in my chair looking like me. I have to say the lipstick looks really good on me. She can also look like you, which was a bit disturbing. Thankfully, she changed back to me.
She shapeshifted in front of you.
Yeah. At the end, she was just a black, shadowy form. I'm not sure if that is her true self.
But you still have your shadow.
Well,
she didn't take
she
that.
stated quite clearly that she liked me asking for help because, especially by now, she thinks we two are very interesting human beings. But she stated clearly she helped you, that's why you have to pay. And she doesn't care if it's fair or unfair, because for sure it's a game for her. She's bored and she was a bit disappointed in humanity not believing in her anymore, I think. Because, as I said, in her eyes, she's a goddess. Sinead was quite hesitant to... Well, she said the line between goddess and demon is more the point of view that you look at. The one thing that I just... You're God. It happens in stories.
The Lord Jesus is his only son.
The thing is, in stories, at least, as I said, I know only bits. People have been led astray by demons, but when they came,
Yes.
when they found their way back, God forgave them.
God forgives everyone.
Well, then...
Unless, of course, you kill yourself. I mean, if you commit one of the 7 deadly sins, I don't know. I mean, the church tells us that God's love is eternal and all-encompassing, but then again, why do we have deadly sins?
Well, you're not one to murder, to be honest.
Well, according to the Bible, I've committed a deadly sin already. One more, I'm roasting in hell anyway when I die.
I don't think so. People make mistakes, And even God knows that. You have been so faithful and so good your whole life. One mistake.
But you see, when the one time when I was really tempted, I gave in.
You're a woman, for goodness sake. Yes, why not?
And at that she smiles and she says, and this is the big difference between the two of us.
Well, based on that, I will definitely go to hell if I want it or not, because I can't make up to, well. And I murdered someone. Well, in self-defense, but nevertheless.
Let's just... I will not accept that a demon has had anything to do with this.
Well, she would say God had her fingers in this.
Well, or a goddess had... Well, I suppose. So... Regardless of what happens... She will consider it a victory, regardless of what I do.
Maybe.
Because the amount of guilt that I feel, the pain that I'm in, would pay any demon 5 times over.
True. Especially if it's just a game for them and they are bored and want to be entertained. I can't take you the pain. That is something that you have to decide on your own. You know that in my world, things like that happen. And as long as you're not getting the child and then drowning it or leaving it in the streets, blanket without nothing.
She looks at you horrified.
Exactly, that would be how I would look as well. Things
I can
happen.
never do that.
I know. It happened is nature. It just can happen.
Yes, it doesn't happen to the girls in my street.
Well, it happens to a lot of girls that I grew up with.
Name one.
I'm not allowed to say, society. No, but I'm quite sure. Out of context. I'm hesitant to put something in Ella's backstory we never talked about at all.
That's fine, she's you.
Okay. Then Alice would just take her hand. Well, one of them is me. Sarah Langdon, the family living next door to my family.
Yes.
As well.
It happened to you. You had a child.
No.
Oh. She had a child.
Yes. I decided to not have a child.
You decided to not have a child.
It happens. I know it's not a good way to go, and no, it's not fun. It's painful. Alone the decision making. And I don't have the church value system that you have. Well, my mother murdered me at least several times in her mind because I was not able to hide it from her.
She knows.
Yes.
How did she take it?
As I said, at least in her mind, I was killed several times for this. Shame to the family. All the shebang.
Yeah, can you imagine what my mother would say? With all the church things, as you call it?
Next to shame on the family, all the rest on top. Yes. The thing is there, my father was the more practical one. showing the options that we have, sending her off on a trip, or sending her to the doctors.
When was that?
Before we met, before I decided to get on my own feet quite at a young age. As you say, mistakes are made.
I'm sorry.
It was my decision along the way.
Yes, that's not the point. That's not why I'm sorry. I know it was your decision, just like whatever I have to do is my decision now. At the end of the day, you can't take that decision for me. You can only live, well, you can watch me live with the consequences. You don't have them.
No, I can only be along your way, whatever you decide.
That's terrible. I'm sorry. I really am.
Well, I learned my lesson. And there are a lot of different ways how you can not get pregnant. Still have the fun. I know. I should not say that in front of a Catholic believing.
It's I know what you mean. So
again, I still weirdly enough believe that if your God is like you describe him and how I hear stories about him, he will forgive you if you forgive yourself. I know it will not happen from like this. It will take time.
You see, my problem is that I don't know if I'm strong enough to go through with this for 9 months.
You are more stubborn than I am.
I'm weak. I am weak.
Excuse me? Have you seen yourself in your whole life? I've never seen someone stronger minded than you.
I don't have to decide now,
no,
right? And if I want to, I can get $100 off you. I will pay you back.
Yes, and if you want to go another way, as I said, we can travel, go somewhere else and come back later. That would not be a problem either, if you're more comfortable with that. Because honestly, I believe without hesitation that you can go through with the 9 months. As long as you don't have to face your mother while the 9 months, because I get why you're scared of that. Your mother is scary. She's a lovely person, don't get me wrong. And she loves you, but... And your father is also quite scary.
He will kill me, and he doesn't care about deadly sins. He will.
Well, the thing is, he will not touch you, because then he will have to go through me.
You've seen her father. He is quite a strong man. He works, he's a butcher.
The thing is, Alice is, in this point, not scared of men.
Yeah, I get it. She's not really scared of many things.
As I said,
I feel a little bit better now.
That is good. Honestly, I feel better now that at least I know that we are not lying to each other. Because that is honestly the worst thing for me. I feel horrible meeting up with Sinead.
Well, so now is the time that I have to tell you that I had already bought a train ticket.
I was going to leave. Sneak out and leave.
I was going to leave. And I wasn't going to tell you why or where, because I couldn't face you.
Well, you know that I would have caught you within days. And then you would have had to told me why you just left without saying.
I don't think you would have found me. How are you going to find me if I leave from New York Central Station? There is no way.
Oh, believe me, you just need to talk to enough people.
You're the PI.
Yes.
Well, at least
and
now
I will train you in this, that next time you can...
At least now I'm not alone anymore.
You are not. As I said, we will figure it out. I just have a tiny request to think about.
Please? What is that request?
maybe give Sinead a call. You don't have to tell you about that happening, because I'm quite sure she will die not knowing what to do. But she's
What am I
really...
going to say to her? Hello, I'm back after not talking to you for 2.5 months. I hope everything's fine.
I have one question. Would you be willing to share your change of work with Sinead if she promised she's not telling your parents? Because I highly doubt she will tell your parents if you ask her not to.
I don't think she really would care. For her, it was never a question what I did and, and why and how. And she doesn't. She cares about me. She doesn't care about what I do. I mean, she's really special. I mean, she can see ghosts.
I'm thankful that she can.
She doesn't care.
The thing is, I gave just a hint, because she was worried that you were not calling because you were sick or something happened. I said no, because I did not know that health topics were involved. I mentioned that you are changing your life a bit and you are just scared that anyone in the family knows, especially your parents. But that I would look
I could
into
use that, you mean?
Give her a call and tell her that you were really hesitant because you are changing your job from housemaid to assistant, and you don't want her to place her in a situation as in case she is talking to your parents, she has to lie.
I can do that.
Because she is really worried about you. The problem is she knows you are the one without a shadow.
Well, she would have seen... The next time she sees me, she would have seen it anyway. I don't think I could have hidden forever from my family. I was really surprised that my dad didn't send my brother. I was half waiting for him to show up one day asking you if you had seen me, because I haven't been to Mass either.
Well, at the moment at least, Alice will take a look at Dottie. I'm not sure, is it visible?
No.
Probably not. So you can decide if you just want to give her a call, because the phone line might be easier to talk. Or if you want to invite her over for dinner and just talk about a work thing. That's your decision. I'm also fine if you say you can't face her. But she really loves and cares for you.
If I'm going to see her, then I had better see her sooner.
Yes.
And she looks at herself and she says...
At the moment, no one sees that.
Well, but she knows all about pregnancy because she's got 3 nephews and nieces, and she knows how fast it's going to show. And she says pretty soon it will be very visible. You know it. I know it. I will also have to talk to the doctor one more time to see is there a time.
Yes, that you know which time you have to decide.
There is a clinic in New Jersey. He's given me an address.
Okay.
If I go, I'll take leave, of course, vacation, so you don't pay me for that time.
You're on sick leave, dear, not on vacation.
I'm still getting used to all of this. And I can tell you, this, and she puts her hand on her abdomen, isn't helping at all.
Hormones will not help with that, but hey. We will figure something out. And I will not talk you into which way to go. That is your decision to make. You need to decide. I only want you to know that there are options. Just go with what your heart feels is the right way to go.
At the moment, I'm afraid that listening to my heart is probably the worst idea ever.
It's usually not the baddest way to go with your guts.
I have already done that.
Well, I can only say learn from it. Which you are the hard way that I did differently, to be honest. It's still not the same. But at least similar.
I will see what I do, Alice. I will see what I do.
Because honestly, you are the lucky one who really has a choice. I didn't have a choice. It was not my decision. My father decided. I honestly still think it was the right thing. Now, after years passing. But they decided how to move on. It's the quicker and easier way. Maybe I learned from there. Maybe that is also why Mom and I are not getting along too well. Clarify how much time you have to make a decision.
I will find out today.
And if you want to talk, I'm here. And no taking a train and just running off.
I promise you that.
Good.
At that moment, it's actually time for the post. The post comes in, and you actually get a letter from Sergeant Updike, and he gives you a couple of names of patients. They're all in the Westchester Hospital in the Bronx. You know New York really well. There are two things that you notice instantaneously about the list. So first of all, the Bronx, I don't know if it was how segregated it was, if there were any white people there at the time, or if it was really all black. I don't know, but I understand it was predominantly, whatever that means. But it was also a slum, so it was a really poor part of the city, not well kept. Most people were unemployed. There was a lot of crime. Not a lot of, it was crime central.
Yep.
And this is now the part that I'm making up because I don't know. But when you look at the list, all names that you see are Creole. So French sounding last names. And you know that there is that there is kind of like a French Quarter there, where lots of former slaves from New Orleans, when they left after the Civil War, a lot of them came north.
Yeah.
And they basically formed a community there. And it seems like this is probably feeding into this idea of it's the water, because they have the same names, so you know that they probably live in the same area. So it could be that it's a poisoned well.
But still, does a poisoned well dissolve livers?
Well, I mean, they obviously, you know more than they know. So at the moment, the New York Times and everybody else thinks that this is a hepatitis outbreak. And there are 3 people named. Jean-Baptiste Laurent. Then we have Martine Laurent. Maybe they are actually married, who knows? And then we have Mathilda Bellefleur. And behind their names are actually ages, and the Laurents are both 30. And Mathilda Bellefleur is considerably older. She's 75.
I think by now, having the list in front, Alice would have moved to the kitchen, just putting the list on the kitchen table, and would put together breakfast. At least something to eat. Not pancakes, because that is too... just some eggs, some toast, and just have something, because also Dottie should eat something.
Dottie eats something.
Alice will eat something as well because she knows it will help against the headaches that is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not, well, she can give the fault on the headache to the dear shadow lady because it was a chain reaction to her visiting. Well, stupid.
Yeah.
I think Alice would be just standing next to Dottie, just leaning over, looking at the list of names, sipping her coffee. I think the main question, Dottie, is that we have to decide, do we want to take care of this as well? Or do we step back and say we can't do this because we have personal stuff that is more important?
If these people have also had their livers removed, who knows how long this is going to stay contained? I mean, you don't just remove... I mean, the thing is, somebody is out there removing livers.
Yes, and honestly, it is not a human with a scalpel.
We know that.
Yes.
Did you ask her if she is maybe also into livers? Just putting it out there.
No, but I never really dug deeper into what her two sisters are in.
Maybe you and I should just make a decision and not go anywhere into churches in the near future and pray to anyone, because maybe that's not a good idea.
Well, you can pray because you did not create this. I should not pray to anyone, and honestly, I'm not.
You're done praying.
That was my one try. I'm not doing that again because this did not go the way I want to.
I could teach you the Lord's Prayer. That always works.
Honey, I'm not sure he would accept me in a circle. He would probably just strike me and burn me.
Well, considering that the last time you prayed to some ancient goddess from ancient Greek mythology who showed up and basically, well...
Well, there could be mean if he would have had reacted. I would have talked to him.
God knows what he would have done.
Probably ignore me because I'm not believing in him.
You see, the thing is, he is as real as she is.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Do you believe in her?
I've seen her, I talked to her. She is existing. I'm not sure if she is really a god. She's powerful.
You see, the true believer doesn't need to see.
I have no idea if your god is there or not. I'm quite sure he at least did not help with this. Which I get, because I don't pray to him. I don't believe in his laws. Why should he help me?
I believe that he is the one true God, so she can't be a god. She is his creation. So if she helped, then he helped.
The thing is, if she's a demon, is he responsible for them? I'm not sure.
Well, demons are nothing but fallen angels.
So he created them initially, but then they
rebelled.
Rebelled and fell from grace.
They rebelled because they didn't have free will.
That
was only us.
Well, I get that. If I wouldn't have free will, I would be definitely a demon. You can't see me as an angel up there in the clouds and being the good girl. That would not be my nature.
I can imagine many things, but that would be a stretch.
It would be a stretch.
Alice.
So, what do we do? Do we still try to help, or is it too much? I'm torn.
Maybe this is my road to redemption.
Helping others.
I certainly can't help myself.
The one thing is, not even knowing about this case, because when I talked to Sinead, I did not even think about this at the moment. We were talking about also things like voodoo. If you heard about this.
Yes.
Just as example, but the main question is, when you look at the names, they all
Yes.
sound more French, Creole naming like. We have a big community. I will call it nicely community that came from New Orleans.
Yes, that's true, yeah. They came after emancipation. Lots of them left the plantations and
New
they were welcome
Orleans.
to New York.
There are people that know how to communicate with demons, making pacts with them, and. Although I'm not sure if they call it demons, but the little bit I read on Voodoo, I did not catch up on details so far, but I'm getting curious now. Maybe Sinead knows someone that is more into this and could help to see if that is maybe something triggered by that. Because we both agree it has to be something not natural, at least not normal like we know.
No, I agree. It is not normal. It's not natural.
So, demon sounds like the fairest option, to be honest. They can do whatever they like if they're powerful enough.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about physics.
Well, if she turned you into you and then into me, she doesn't care about physics either.
Also,
Let's just say these are powerful entities.
she can make light from no light at all, which is weird when I think about it.
She made light?
Well, she was sitting in my dark room, and when I talked to her, she kind of like sucked in all shadows, and suddenly the room was like there was light without a light source. And when she left, everything was back to black and shadowy, dark, like a room looks like when no light is on. So they can do things that we can't.
What is her name anyway? Did she give you her name?
Oh God. Sinead gave me her name.
Martha Tenebrarum.
And I did not write it down.
Martha Tenebrarum. She will now enter our list of NPCs.
Thank you.
Description: powerful entity.
Oh no, I put it down, although I scribbled quite a lot, so I can read Martha or Marta. Something with Tina and a B, and then the rest is just Skrigga. So I will. At least that is the name Sinead knows her under. And as I said, the Mother of Shadows. And they are good. Honestly, as far as I understood Sinead, honestly, not good nor bad. They just are what they are.
Unlike the demons that are by definition bad.
Yeah, and honestly, on what base what she did. Don't get me wrong, I'm really thankful she saved you, because I don't know what I would do if not. But it's or for the language, asshole move to just decide on your own what the price for that is.
I still think that it's not.
Also, she said it might be that I will meet her sisters one day before I die.
Like a family reunion.
I don't know. Honestly, I asked her how I could contact her sisters, because maybe they would be in to kick her, because sisters love and hate each other, don't they?
Well, I don't really hate my sister, so I can't comment on that, but...
When you were younger, didn't you fight over that someone wanted that toy more than the other?
Yeah, but that's kid stuff.
Yeah, well, it's game stuff for her.
So you think that they would fight over us? Kind of go, no, I want that Dottie.
Maybe.
Although you can't have her.
I'm honestly not sure if that is a scenario that will make this better or even worse. Probably worse. If we decide to move on with this, and if you feel like moving on and helping I will definitely try helping as well, because as I said, I'm a bit torn. I would like to help, but we have a thing going that is honestly more important. But it would be a chance to, although then it would be again a work call. No, I want you to talk to Sinead when it's not work related.
You know what? I'm going to ring Sinead now. It's still early in the morning. It's only 11 o'clock. Yeah. Well, it's 10 o'clock, really. It's 10 o'clock. And I will go out with her for lunch today. And I will not talk about work. I will not talk about any of this. I will tell her about me being the assistant.
Okay.
But then she knows. So you know that she knows. And she may come back to you with questions.
Well, I'm free to go, but I honestly think she would be fine with that.
I think so too. And then you call her tonight and ask her about your thing. At that moment, there's a ring at the door. Dottie gets up and she walks to the door and she opens it. And
Alice will be with head around the corner to look who it is.
It's a little messenger errand boy.
Okay.
And she comes back, well, not so little, he's like maybe 10 or something. She comes back with a manila envelope. She says, this is for you from Sinead.
Do we want to have a look at it together?
You open it. And it starts with, it's a letter at the top. And she says, Alice, I'm only sending you this because you asked me to, but I would like to tell you that I think this is a really bad idea. You should not mess with gods! ! But since you will do it anyway, I'm sending you this because I don't want you to go to any quack! ! Love, Sinead. P.S. Ring me to let me know how Dottie's doing. And then it's really kind of like, she has wonderful handwriting. So she's basically set out an incantation and a ceremony, which doesn't even involve candles or anything, but it's really like you need to sit. The main thing is you need to learn these words off by heart because you have to sit in the dark as you're reciting them. And then she kind of predicts that if the goddess is willing, she will appear, and you can expect the darkness to fade, and for her to basically come to you out of the shadows, which is why it's important you do it at night or when it's really dark in a darkened room, for example. Yeah. She also says that it is highly likely that she will take a shape that will be weird or strange in terms of it's unexpected what she looks like, and you might want to brace yourself for it. Because no mortal may behold the face of the true God. And that looks like it was a quote from something. And then she kind of has written a little bit of a take care. And that's it. It's really just a 2-pager.
Well, we don't need that, I think, but we should keep it maybe.
You asked her for directions on how to summon a god?
Well, I wanted to talk to her. I did not know she would just freaking show up in my bedroom in the middle of the night. Without
the two of you! Seriously!
She was hesitant, but I said I will look around for other people knowing about supernatural stuff. And she was not amused by that, as you can see here. Putting her point
she's
on
right.
the...
She's right. God knows who would you have encountered, and God knows what they would have given you, and God knows what you would have summoned.
I'm feeling horrible pulling Sinead in all of this. every time.
Sinead is the seventh daughter of a seventh daughter. It's her birthright and her fate. Oh, I've said it.
Still, it's bad enough that we go through this shit. Why do we have to pull her in every time? Well, not every time. She was not involved in the Wendigo.
She had nothing to do with the Wendigo. She wasn't there when, Simmons Strand. She was going to go to the library for you. That was the extent of her involvement.
And talking a bit. I will give her a call now. Just telling her, thank you for the letter. I will probably not need it. How you are doing, you will tell herself. And then I will hand over to you. You can make out whenever it fits for both of you to go out.
It will be today. Would you be okay with sandwiches for lunch? I'll cook tonight, I promise.
And again, you don't have to cook if it's... I can order. I can just go out. Or we go out for dinner. Don't worry about that. Sandwich is fine. The question is if Sinead has time to go out. We don't know that.
We don't.
Maybe so she's busy.
She gets up and she takes the phone, which has a really long line. She hands you the phone.
Wait. Yeah, me first. So I will dial her number because by now I know Sinead's number probably by heart.
They've probably just got 4 digits anyway. Sinead Murphy.
Alice here.
Alice, did you get my letter?
Oh, I just got it. Thank you very, very much.
I hope you read the cover letter because every single word is meant as it's written. You should not be doing this. You are a fool if you're going to try and do this. It's going to end terribly.
Thank you.
I know it in my bones.
The thing is, I already talked to her.
What? That was quick.
Well, she visited me last night before I had your instruction. I never tried if it works.
She visited you?
Yes. She's a very bored person. It's all a game for her.
Well, she's several thousand years old, probably maybe immortal. God knows.
Well,
she might have been doing this for a very long time. I mean, can you imagine being immortal? You would get bored too.
Yeah, it was not really a helpful talk, but so be it.
So, have you found out what the story is? What the price is?
No, not really. We will see, was her answer. But she said she is definitely one who took the shadow.
Okay, so when is she going to give it back?
She did not say. It was a weird talk. I think it was more for her amusement than for being a really helpful conversation.
It says in the books that she's really beautiful. Can you say that's true?
Well, she sat in my chair looking like me. I think I'm beautiful, yeah?
She took your form.
Yes. She likes my lipstick and my cigarettes, as I know now.
I would have wanted to see that. Two of you.
Well, it was a bit weird.
For you, yes.
She even used my voice, which is quite rude, but, well, bored people that have the power to do so.
Wow.
As I said, I don't think at the moment we would be even trying out, but still, it's good to have just in case, because honestly, talking to her is quite useless.
How so?
As I said, she was more interested in her gaming thing than giving me any answers or options, so why should I talk to her again? It would be just the same again. The only point that would probably happen somewhere she would get annoyed and angry along the line. I tried to make her angry, to be honest. It did not work.
That's probably a good thing.
Probably. She was more amused.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
She says we are quite interesting human beings. Not sure if that is a compliment or not. Usually I would take it as a compliment.
Who's we?
Dottie and I. That's why she took her shadow.
Generally speaking, when demonic or other entities find you interesting,
it's
not a good thing.
No, I know. And she definitely takes responsibility for saving our dear Dottie.
Well, then at least we know who to thank.
Yes.
Does Dottie know?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes. We talked no more lies. At least not between us. Also, she will tell you how she's feeling, so...
I doubt that. Like I said, she hasn't talked to me.
Well, then brace yourself, because she's standing next to me, so I can hand over the phone to you, that you can talk, and not about work, to... Well, a bit not about my... She will explain. And I will just hand...
Well, bye.
Bye.
As you're handing it over, you
exactly,
can hear it like from the receiver, bye. And then Dottie says, Sinead, I was wondering if we could go out for lunch, maybe someday, today. Tomorrow I have to go to the precinct, but today I'd be free. And apparently Sinead says yes. And Dottie, I mean, you know her really well, so this is like, you know, she finds this really hard. She's really struggling, but when Sinead says yes, she really relaxes and she smiles. And
I think with that, Alice would leave Dottie in the hallway, because she thinks this is then a private thing. But she is like, okay.
And the two of them talk a little longer, and then at some point you hear, depending on where you are, you hear that she hangs up the phone. And then did you go upstairs? Are you staying downstairs?
No, I'm in the kitchen.
Okay, so
having my next cup of coffee, trying to get rid of the still headache.
She says, I'm meeting her for lunch at 2:00 this afternoon.
Awesome.
You have a headache, don't you?
Rightful so. It will go away. You don't have no headache after what you drank?
No, I didn't actually.
I need Irish blood, as it seems, to get through this more easily.
60% proof.
I will drink more water and stay away from alcohol for the next days, and it will be fine.
Yes, you and alcohol. You really, I mean, I should not talk, but you need to watch that a little.
I know. It's just so easy and accessible.
Yes, but I'm afraid easy and accessible is the road to temptation and the road to hell.
And I am quite good in just jumping headfirst into temptation, because it looks like fun.
She laughs and she says, yes, the two of us maybe should stay away from Catholic churches in the near future, because we will both just burn when we enter.
As I said, dear, I'm quite sure you will be very welcome back when you turn back on the rightful path, if you want to go. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you are sure.
I would have to go to confession first, because if I go to Mass, I will not be able to take the host, and everybody would wonder why. Well, so for me to be able to do this, I would have to talk to someone first.
The priest promised not to talk to anyone about what
That's not the point. I still am unable to talk about this. I can't have anyone know, because I don't want to know, if you know what I mean. I can't get my head around this.
I am not talking about now. I get why you are staying away from this for now, but on the long way, you can always decide. You don't have to go to your church. There are other Catholic churches.
Yes, I know. It's difficult.
I know. Or on that case, honestly, I only can imagine. Time will show which way you want to go. And oh god, that rhymed. I should not drink.
So what are you going to do for the rest of the day?
Taking a bath.
That sounds like a plan.
would be the thing I will do when you are gone, just to soak a bit and trying to get rid of the headache. I am curious if the idea to visit the hospital is a good one or not. I would like to see at least one of them.
Then we should go. But
It's a question if we do it when you... Can we squeeze it in before you have to be at the meeting point with Sinead?
sure.
We have to go all to the Bronx and back. By now, it's a question, how late is it by now?
It's probably around 11 o'clock.
11, right?
Yeah. Or we can do tomorrow. We can do tomorrow after the precinct because we're there. We're supposed to be there first thing at 8. Or we do it when I get back. Shouldn't be more later than 4.
Well, I don't want to put any pressure on you having to be back in time. If you girls decide to chit-chat until dinner, it's that. Let's do tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow. Okay. So she actually starts to get dressed. Well, I mean, she's dressed. She gets ready for getting outside, and then she leaves. And then, well, you have the house to yourself, except Maeve is, of course, there. And yeah, and you can have your bath.
Yeah, she will go in her bathroom, fill up the tub, and will just soak in. Probably she carried over. Oh no, she doesn't have to carry over. She turned up the record player in her room that is on the same level as the bathroom and would just have music on quite loudly. She would have the door open so she can hear the record player as well as in case anything is getting closer. But then she will just soak, but she will face the door of the bathroom.
Okay, so you soak, you face the door of the bathroom. Nothing happens. There is no sound, there is no sight, there is no smell, nobody's smoking. And then after a while you get out of the tub. Maeve actually at some point walked in, got back, got on her hind legs, put her front paws on the bath, looked at the fact that there is water in there, looked at you, completely incredulously going, WTF, and walks away again. It's like, why would anyone submerge themselves in water? That's
Well, by now I'm quite sure she had to go through 1 or 2 baths, which she did not enjoy, as it seems.
No. Yeah.
Well, I was soaking for quite a while until the water is slowly getting colder. And more the cold where it's not comfy anymore. And then I would get out, I would get dressed. Would go down, fix myself another small sandwich.
Okay.
And this time a cup of tea.
Okay.
I would give Maeve something to eat as well. And would probably go through the newspaper that would have arrived as well. Just really in detail reading through it, just to be distracted, to be honest.
As you go through the newspaper, there's a ring. Their phone rings.
I will stand up and go to the phone and answer it. Baker.
Is this Miss Alice Baker?
Yes.
My name is Teresa McFarlane. I saw your ad. You're looking for a cleaning lady.
Oh, I almost forgot about that. Yes, we are still looking.
I was wondering if we could have an interview. I could come to your place. I've got references.
That sounds kind of perfect. I would need my assistant here as well, because we are living with 2 people here in a household and we want to decide together.
Of course.
Out of game, when was the appointment that we should be at the police station?
Tomorrow morning at 8.
Okay, so early in the morning. Tomorrow we are off the full day, but the day after, if you could...
Of course.
Come by.
When would suit you, miss?
Around 10 o'clock in the morning would be fine. If it works for you, we can also move it to the afternoon.
The voice is the voice of a young person.
Girl.
Yeah.
McFarland. She would just... Then, Teresa, I would say we will meet each other then the day after tomorrow, 10 o'clock, at our place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will see you then.
Bye.
Bye. And she hangs up.
Okay, after 10 a.m. The same I wrote that down. Alice would oh god, it's getting too late. Would write this down on a piece of paper, like interview with Teresa McFarland day after today, and she would put in the proper date at 10 a.m. And would put it on a kitchen counter, probably just put it there.
There is nothing really interesting in the paper. There are no more reports of people dying, dying, like in clusters of hepatitis or anything else for that matter. And then at length, Dottie comes back, and she is a lot more. You know how she was really kind of like in this giddy mood where you were kind of like thinking this is her new emerging personality. She is now a lot more than like she used to be. The quiet type, but she looks content. And she says, well, that was important. And she's happy for me. She thinks it's a good thing that I'm switching jobs, and she won't tell anyone.
Good. I'm glad to hear that she also thinks that's a good idea. Because I know I have sometimes weird ideas, so I'm glad that you two at least figured that part out. I know it's still weird that you can't really tell her the full truth, but I think that is really important for her.
I can't now, but maybe one day I can.
Yeah, but at your time and rate, if you're willing to or not. She will pull out the paper and hand it over to Dottie. We have an interview.
Oh, that's...
well, she sounded like a sweet, nice young girl. She will come by at 10 with references.
With references?
Well, let's see what they are.
No, I mean, I totally get it. It just reminds me of a day 15 years ago.
Oh God.
I met your mother.
We are old. We are so old.
You're 31 going on 32. You're not old, Alice.
I'm ancient.
No.
Well, no, I know.
No, actually, it wasn't even 15 years ago. It was 10 years ago, because she was 16, you were 21, you're 32. 21. No, so it's 11 years ago.
I was also in my mind just calculating.
Yeah,
no,
sorry,
I was not
it was
that
like,
young.
Yeah, it was your mother who made that decision. You didn't get a say in this.
No, but I'm honestly quite happy that she made this decision. As much as sometimes I pick up with her, she has a quite good hand for staff. And I'm very happy that she picked you, because you're much more than staff. And honestly, when I look at Mom's household, not all are only staff. Some are already kind of part of the family.
Well, I mean the cook.
Well.
And Hopkins.
Hopkins are family, even if my mom would never say it because it's not how it should be.
I think your father and mother would be lost without them.
Yes.
But we can't tell them that.
They know.
That's good.
But they would never admit to it. Not as stupid I admitting without your help I would be in big trouble.
Sinead also let you know the following. She has done some more research. So she has 2 sisters, that's what you know.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, apparently they are different ages, although does that matter if you're immortal? The next one is called the Mother of Tears. And the last one is called, the oldest one is called the Mother of Sighs.
Well, if it goes on that, we had all of that already in this household.
I just hope that you didn't get any more visitors while I was away. Like, did somebody sigh or cry?
Well, Maeve, when she looked into the bathtub
Cried?
and decided I am insane in just freely living in that, and she took off because I think by now she's like, oh no, I'm not dealing with that. But no visitors. The call from Miss McFarland was the only thing.
Okay.
Nothing.
So tomorrow we're going to go to the precinct and then we're going to go to the hospital.
I think that makes sense. And this evening I will give Sinead a call. Honestly, maybe I would rather call her tomorrow after we talk to the police and visited the hospital, because then we have more things and we can ask her if she wants to come by the day after.
All right. Now I'll have to make one phone call.
Sure.
I'll let you know what they say. And she goes away.
While she goes away, Alice would go upstairs and would go to her pocket money, basically, and would pull out the $100 and would bring them downstairs.
And you basically, are you listening to what she's saying on the phone?
No, she would go, she would probably stay upstairs and just, I don't know, straighten a few things out, just straighten the bed and do a few things to give Dottie time.
And then basically at some point the call ends, because I mean she's in the hall so you can kind of hear the voice kind of without, and then she hangs up and she obviously goes into the salon.
Yeah, then I would take that. I would be like counting like 1, 2, 3 before I start going, and I would go down. I would put the money into the box where we usually have all the cash that we use. Just put it in there. And that would peek into the salon.
I've spoken to the doctor. She's again facing the window looking outside. I've got 5 more weeks.
That's quite a bit of time. Good.
Yeah.
The money's in the box where it usually is.
She looks around you. She looks around at you and she says, you know, for a lot of girls, this is the beginning of the end. A lot of girls where I grew up.
I can imagine.
I'm lucky.
Well, you're crazy enough to stick around with me, so not sure if it's lucky or hard-earned.
We will see what I decide. But I will let you know, and we will talk about it.
Good. And then Alice would do something that is quite intrusive. She would basically give Dottie a hug.
She hugs you back.
We will figure this out.
She actually leans in.
In modern times, Alice would then do a fist bump with her, like, but not at that time. They did not know what that is.
And then and then she says, and now I'm gonna cook, and we're gonna have dinner. And then
Sit for
tomorrow,
5 more minutes for me to clean up the mess before you have to face the kitchen, please.
all right. She sits down for 5 more minutes.
She will go back and clean up where she did the sandwich and the coffee, because honestly, it was probably all half still there. So she will clean up a bit. Okay, now I think it's that way that I don't have to be ashamed.
She comes in. She glances at the kitchen. This is an involuntary glance, but she takes stock. Is everything where it should be? And then she says she starts cooking. And today is not as fancy as it was last night. No tuna steak. It's just normal fare. It's still dotty, so it's good. And then the two of you have dinner.
Yeah.
And I think we will leave it there. Unless there's anything you want to do that evening.
No. Just hopefully sleep without visitors. That would be the wish.
You go to sleep without visitors and you wake up the next day, and we will see in 2 weeks what happens then. And that's going to be interesting because we will actually be in the same room.
That would be fun.
That will be really fun.
That would be really fun.
So thank you all for watching. Today was a bit heavy on the themes, but this is what happens when you end up dealing with goddesses. Sometimes they can be quite weird. And we wish you a pleasant evening, day, night, whenever you watch this, listen to us. And thank you very much. And thanks for playing.
Thanks for telling the story with me.
And we will speak again in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much. Bye.